Well, it's time for the startup pitches, and as I said very early on in the beginning of the session, we have in total 5 founders representing 4 startups that we scouted beforehand. We selected them out of hundreds, and our expert panel, they will not hold back with feedback, so we give them exactly 3 minutes to pitch their idea to all of you dialing in from home or wherever you are in the live stream, introducing their innovative idea to the travel industry of the global community that we are here together at the ITB Berlin Convention. And I'd say we are ready for the startup number 1, which is represented by the co-founder and CEO, Robert Wesley, and it's Me Protocol. Robert, the stage is yours.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Wesley. I'm the founder and CEO of MyAI. I'm very happy to introduce our Me Protocol open rewards infrastructure. This is fundamentally changing how businesses, consumers, and even AI agents transact with rewards, not just within a single brand, but across any brand around the world. So just a brief overview on ourselves. My co-founder Paul and I are serial entrepreneurs. Paul built the blockchain infrastructure connecting major banks in Africa. I built the intelligence infrastructure that connects government agencies to help them find bad guys. And today we've built the rewards infrastructure connecting 15 brands and exposing their over 2 million users to an open rewards ecosystem. We've built amazing new technology that solves the long-time problem of how do you connect rewards programs and allow rewards to be used across ecosystems. Why is this interesting for you? Well, you're maybe from one of the 99% of businesses that operate closed rewards programs. They're closed, they're siloed, and it's incredibly difficult for AI agents to interact and bring you new customers using rewards. Well, this is changing with us. We've built a new technology that allows you, through just a simple API connection, to create open rewards. So if you have a closed rewards program, it's a simple API. Your customers can use the rewards across any brand. And very importantly, you expose your program to AI agents to drive you traffic. So it's all the benefits of a rewards coalition without any of the trade-offs. None of the brand dilution, all the full control you would have a closed program with a simple connection. We also built a marketplace, so your consumers can immediately see all the products and services across any business in the ecosystem using those rewards now. Forget about white label solutions. This is the future. If you don't have a rewards program, we built an entire new technology stack that allows you to spin up a new rewards program, what do you think, in a week? No, 1 day or even 1 hour. One of the product innovations that we're just releasing this quarter is what we would call a Stripe for rewards. So if you think about what Stripe did for payments, we're doing for rewards. It allows you to accept rewards on any platform. Your hotel booking site, you can accept rewards directly there from any participating brand. So we're building what's called universal rewards, and so our roadmap is almost complete, actually. We've built the infrastructure that allows rewards to communicate and interoperate. We've built a way in which you can accept rewards on any platform, and this year we're launching a completely new AI agent framework that allows AI agents to fully automate rewards for both businesses and consumers. So, well, it's a startup pitch, so how do we make money? We charge subscriptions and also transaction fees, and we guess there'll be about 30 to 60% of our revenue in the next 3 years will be from AI agents. We have a wonderful team across Europe, Africa, and the United States, and investors not only from travel, but from retail and technology. Thank you much for your attention. And I'm also keynoting tomorrow about AI agents. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, come see me on the travel tech stage tomorrow. Thank you.
Well, that was a good use of the time, on time, and including a second pitch. Kudos to you. Anyone wants to go first? First thoughts, first reactions?
Ladies first.
Wow. Suzanna?
Yeah, it's like, Robert, it's like, thanks for the pitch. Definitely on trend. It's like, apart from AI, the things that we've been talking the most about is AI agents. In that case, yes, you have the keyword, right? Then the next question is, how are we going to see this really being implemented and in action, right? I think there's a very big idea out there. Like, it sounds promising. I think that eventually it can be the it's like final destination. How can you prove this concept in a small way such that you can get on your journey to the final destinations will be something that I think you may want to think about.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil all the details of my keynote tomorrow on agents, but just a few little breadcrumbs there. Well, in order for AI agents to really work, they need to have like an infrastructure of rails for them to operate. It's not that an AI agent can just come up to a miles program or a points program and just start interacting on the user's behalf. They have to have an interface. They have to have an understanding of how to use these rewards. And they're never going to be able to use rewards across different businesses. So what we did to solve that, instead of having this individual rewards program, having to adapt to AI agents, we just say connect with our infrastructure, and immediately AI agents will be able to understand your rewards program. That's all you have to do. So if you have legacy systems, you don't have to replace them, you just connect them. So that's a big innovation that allows us to do with AI agents right now what we would think that maybe it was going to take 2 or 3 years into the future. We're building our own internal agent that allows you to earn rewards from businesses, so not just burn rewards, but actually earn them. And this is going to be released in 3rd or 4th quarter this year. So we're not in the future, this is actually happening this year. Thank you for your question.
Right, okay. Any follow-up questions, any thoughts? Question you could ask?
Only one comment, Robert. I liked it. I liked the kind of vertical focus on the rewards. I think, or I would even more super focus on one vertical first. Maybe it's travel. I haven't seen any go-to-market idea in the slides, but I would really start in one vertical and not try to go broad, as I understood, into e-commerce and different markets. So that's why I would show the use case in one vertical. But the idea is basically a really cool one.
Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if it was a question, but I can just maybe add some context to that.
Yep.
So we started in travel, actually building an AI agent during COVID. And so, as you can imagine, during COVID, that wasn't such a great idea. But that led us, that's our foundation in travel there. Then we were approached from the fashion industry to bring what we're doing with rewards into fashion. And we thought, okay, fashion, why? How does that make sense, especially luxury fashion? So we got an investment from Farfetch, which is the largest luxury marketplace in the world, and they said, no, actually what you're doing would be very applicable for retail. What we like about the combination there is we think it's really nice, especially with retail brands, fashion brands, the combination of that and travel, so like high-end products, the combination's really well. So normally when you're starting off these countries, companies, you like to be kind of vertically centric, so that you can like scale into there and you can hire salespeople that have the vertical expertise. But for us, actually, the ecosystem becomes more valuable if we have a variety of different products. But we have different flywheels for the industry, so we're right now focused on retail and travel. So for retail, we have integrations with e-commerce platforms like Shopify with 1.7 million stores. So it's actually 3 clicks and they're installed, and they have a new rewards program with us. So it's unbelievable. They can sync their inventory across. No manual effort there, no need to hire new people. We're doing the same thing in travel. Maybe we develop an integration with Amadeus in the future that allows us to do something similar with travel companies.
Cool.
So trying to economize the go-to-market.
Right. We have a bit of time left. Do you have a thought you want to add? Liu,
Maybe one question. I'm curious about we talked about interoperability of the rewards. How would you make sure that, how would you evaluate one loyalty program, one player versus another one?
Yeah, in the 5 seconds I have, it's a special blockchain infrastructure. You don't see this as a consumer or business, it's in the background, and it brokers the transactions across the whole system. So you never need to have to partner with another business. You don't have to buy rewards from any other business. It brokers the transaction for you, so you just plug and play. So it's magic, but afterwards I'm happy to reveal our tricks.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Robert Wesley, founder and CEO of Me Protocol. Yes, and we are right up for the next startup pitching here on the stage. And it's my honor to welcome on stage Dr. Julia Korensky, co-founder and CEO, and Maria Sobur, Chief Technology and Marketing Officer at TripLeap.
Okay, let's imagine you're on a family trip. You're excited to explore new city with kids, and your kids are bored and completely disconnected. Does it sound familiar to you? Raise your hand if yes.
Wow, I see a lot of hands. Well, we have also been there with our daughters. That's why we created TripLeap, turning traditional sightseeing into interactive adventures. Hi, we are Julia and Maria, founders of TripLeap, and we are going to change the way 300 million families explore this world. Did you know that tours and activities sector is the third largest in travel, yet it's missing quite valuable opportunities? Families want meaningful experiences, but let's be honest, traditional tourism isn't just made for digitally native children. Tourism operators want to engage young visitors, but lack tools to make it happen. So, we have created a 3-tier solution that gamifies tourism. The first one, our in-house professionally crafted treasure hunts both in physical and digital format. Secondly, software that enables tourism professionals to create and monetize their own experiences on our platform. And last but not least, business solutions. Customized white label experiences for museums, hotels, attraction sites, helping them to turn their spaces into adventure zones.
Our sweet spot are families with kids from 5 to 12 years old. And this is over 300 million traveling families around the world. And over a quarter of them are actively looking for cultural experiences. So if we just take 1% of that market share, we'll end up with 700,000 families ready for the next adventure. We developed so far 11 games in different cities, played and loved by many kids, and now actively building a community of followers and creators. But the best feedback is when our own daughters finish Berlin Quest saying, wow, can I bring the whole class next time because I want to be a tour guide? Well, this is much better than I'm bored, right? So why TripLeap? We are 100% kids-focused. We integrate augmented reality for deeper learning, intuitive software for creators, and quality assurance to ensure safe environment for younger generation. We generate revenue through direct sales, commission fee from creators, and business-to-business solutions. Our passionate team of professionals in tech, in heritage, and pedagogy are happy to help you to transform ordinary visits into extraordinary adventures.
So, if you are looking to engage young visitors, boost family tourism revenue, and stand out in a competitive market, let's talk.
Right. Thank you so much. I look at the faces. Is there anyone that wants to go first? Suzanna, what's your thoughts?
Okay. Please confirm, are you running a two-sided business model? So on the one hand, you need to find the content creators, and at the same time, you're also going to market on a B2C? Is that the way that you're going to market?
Well, we would say even 3-tier solution with the B2C, with our end users, families, and teachers and classes. On the other hand, creators, B2 creators, and the third one would be B2B.
Yeah, typically in this type of business model, right, we ask to say, how are you going to create that positive feedback loop, right? So where are you going to be investing in your energy because you need one side to get the other. So in this case, how are you tackling that problem?
This is actually a challenging thing for us. We have been focusing in the B2C sector for quite several months and realized that it won't bring us to the level we want to be in the nearest future. So we are now trying to find these cooperations with the B2B in like a project-based in order to sustain our company and then invest more money into the B2C marketing.
Right.
Good.
Christoph, you have a question or a thought about?
Yeah, first of
pitch?
all, I could see the passion and also the personal link to what you have created. So that's what we like in general. I think what Suzanna mentioned is something which is a bit tricky because you are addressing different, let's say, stakeholder, B2B, B2C. You have to build the brand into different directions, and you have a tricky to target group, so to say, because families with young kids think about CAC CLV, so you have to find a way that you approach them and they are becoming recurring customers going forward in the same year or even on the same trip. And that is, so we are investor into Get Your Guide, and it's much easier to get, let's say, a bigger target group into the same trip experience on the same destination as something which you create for a smaller target group. So that's why I think that will be a bit tricky on the kind of CAC CLV constellation. That's why I would once again focus maybe on B2B or B2C only, because I think it's quite tricky to get investors in this kind of small target group with a 2 to 3-sided marketplace approach.
Yes, definitely should be. We need to have a focus at once on one of the target groups, so to say.
Right. We have almost 1.5 minutes left. Mingyu, is there any thought from your end or a question you want to ask?
I think I would be interested in bringing my daughter, son, to test this type of product. But once again, you know, the kids, they've done once and maybe they're not interested in second time. Do you have any statistics regarding repeat usage or in that sense? And how would you control the product quality? Is any one of us can really upload or create the program in your system, and then afterwards, what's the control behind? If there are so many programs, and how would you, do you have, you know, kind of staff and effort to control that?
If I understand the correctly,
Any questions?
So the game at the moment, we're in the early stages, but we want to integrate some, you know, like loyalty, leadership, different features for kids, so they can collect some points, and it will motivate them to go further and explore new cities, and maybe have challenges with their friends. So if I understood your question correctly, so it's like we want to build a community around it.
So far, it has been very good accepted, and families repeating it in different cities and buying it for their friends. So we have quite a positive feedback from families.
Also, because it's the kids, we are developing with our mascot characters sort of a connection with the kids. So they we have like aliens who escort them in different cities. So they have these emotional connections, and they want to explore new cities with them as well.
Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. Time's up, and I'd say a warm and loud applause for Dr. Julia Korensky and Maria Sobur from TripLeap. And we're ready for startup number 3 already. Time flies. So please welcome on stage the Chief Commercial Officer, Tobias Koehler at Onsai.
Hi. Imagine, it's peak season, your front desk is overwhelmed with calls, guests are waiting to check in, and your most experienced staff member just called in sick. That isn't just a bad day, that's a new normal in hospitality. Let me ask you, how many hours does your team waste on repetitive tasks? And how many direct bookings do you lose because you cannot answer the phone fast enough? Today's guests expect instant service, and hotels are expected to deliver more with less staff available. I'm Tobias, co-founder of Onsai. It's great to be here, thank you. And we've created the hospitalities industry first agentic AI. It's not just another chatbot, but an autonomous digital team member that handles your operations while making real-time decisions. This is possible because we're deeply integrated in your hotel systems, the telephone system, the PMS, for example. But let me show you Onsai Voice, one of our agents in action.
Hey there. You're talking to Lisa, the McDreams Hotel's phone assistant. How can I help you today?
I'd like to book a room, please.
Great. Could you please provide me with the arrival date, departure date, and the number of guests?
I'm arriving today and leaving tomorrow, and I'm a single traveler.
We have one room available for the chosen period from February 25th to February 26th. Single for €46. No free cancellation. Would you like to book the room?
Yes, please.
Please tell me your first and last name.
Tobias Koehler.
And so on. That wasn't a simulation. That's Onsai working right now at McDreams Hotels, where it's already reducing workload by 1/3 and saving the company €600,000 last year alone. What sets Onsai apart? We offer multi-property capabilities, and most importantly, we deliver the unmatched data protection because we built this on open source AI models. We already have many agents in place, all of which can be adapted to your individually brand needs. Think about why you got it into hospitality. Was it to answer the same questions about parking all day? Or was it to create exceptional experiences that remember guests forever? Get in touch with us, and looking forward to your questions.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tobias. That was like 5 seconds early, even. Right. Suzanna, you're very active in the hospitality space with Amadeus. What's your thoughts?
Yes. I'm going to be the skeptic here, even though I like AI agents. So I've been talking with my colleagues on this space quite a bit. The flow that you have just presented to us, notice that with the, if I can call them the last generation of the AI conversation technology, I'm sure that we have seen demos that are very similar to this. So what exactly is the current generation of AI has brought onto the picture to enable this flow that you have just presented to us? What is different this time?
I don't understand the question.
Right. So, like, say, 5 years ago, say, before we have all the LLMs, okay? So, say, a lot of the hotels or a lot of the technology companies working for hotels, they are already presenting the flow that you have just presented. Okay? So, it sounds like, say, that is a technology that has already been available for quite some time. We know this is we've been talking about like large language models like for the last 24 months, right? So with a more powerful technology. So how are you using this more powerful technology to do the conversations for hotel this time?
Yeah. Thank you for your question and explanation. So the thing is, yes, there was some kind of technology on the market. However, it never has been used because it is buggy. It wasn't useful because they didn't have the power to actually understand people. Especially in the travel environment, we need to be able to understand, are you speaking English? Are you speaking German? What language is it? So what we've built are several agents that act in the background, that actually understand which language you have, and then act upon what you're actually saying. So it's not a what if, it's an actual autonomously decision by the agent, which other agent to call, basically, if it's to answer a question or if it's to create a reservation within a system that's connected.
Right, thank you. I mean, Liu, do you have a thought on the pitch?
Yeah, I think we're quite positive about hospitality tech, and we see a lot of software companies, solutions got used by hoteliers. Very positive about this. But the thing for me is how this product is standardized versus personalized. But sometimes, when you're a guest, you want to have some kind of recommendation from the receptionist regarding the environment, what kind of alternatives they can suggest. And here, when you go through the voice, and if it's not suitable, then we shall ask the question again. And to what extent this product can be really personalized to the hotel.
Absolutely, yeah, to every extent, starting from the language or voice selected till to what information should be implemented. So since we're able to connect every kind of database, and it might be possible to connect also to point of interest databases that are around the hotel, so that we also get real-life information about what events are around. So you could call even in-house when you're in the room and thinking about, hey, which restaurants to visit or which events to visit tonight. To call the assistant and then ask for recommendations. Also, to personalize it for you, for example, and this is only the voice agent, we would be able to understand, okay, you've visited the hotel 3 times and 3 times you booked a spa treatment. Now you booked a room and you forgot, maybe, to book a spa treatment. That's something the AI understands. It would reserve the spot within the spa management tool and give the hotelier the hint to maybe upsell you and give you the idea of, give him the idea of, or you the idea of that they recognize you and give you the benefit of, yes, we thought of you and we know you and maybe you want to visit the spa again.
Right. To wrap up,
one last quick comment. I think what you really need to do is to specify on the travel vertical, because your pitch, I think that could be also used in the restaurant business or wherever. That's why I would really ask you to look into, for example, the PMSs, the property management systems for let's say, hotel business. There are more than 1,000. The biggest one is, for example, from Oracle, 8% market share. I would go for, if I would pitch it, I would say, okay, we already connected with the Oracle PMS. It works, look here. It sources the data out of the registration platform. I think you need to really show a deep backbone connect into the existing infrastructure, because otherwise, I think you fail due to complexity of backbone connect in the hotel business.
Absolutely, thank you for the recommendation. We're actually already connected to early adopter PMSs like Apaleo and Muse, and the next on the list is actually Opera Cloud to get the big fishes in the market. Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the best success with that. Thank you. A warm applause for Tobias Koehler from Onsai. Right, and now, last but not least, startup number 4 already. Please, everyone, welcome on stage Nick Castrioty, CEO and co-founder at Trapi.
Who's ready to talk about API integrations, huh? Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Trapi, your AI agent for complex API integrations. With over 2,000 APIs in travel tech alone, and over 3.2 million customers to those APIs, the travel tech landscape couldn't be more fragmented today. But what's worse is that on average, it takes 3 months to integrate with a single API. But why are our travel APIs so complex? Well, let's take a look at an example, a 3-month example. The first month is all about securing your commercial agreements, reviewing your API documentation, and aligning your architecture ready for the integration. The second month is where your engineers start to really work, where the integration or implementation actually happens. And the third month is all about end-to-end testing and going through rigorous certification process. Once that's live and up and running, you think that'd be the end of it, but actually it's just the beginning of an ongoing and never-ending journey of keeping your products and the APIs in sync. So meet Trapi, the first travel API developer tool that helps travel sellers automate and manage their API integrations and complex API workflows. And we do so by feeding our AI agents context from the customer through their product's code and architecture, as well as context from the API itself through their API documentation and certification files. From there, our AI agents are generating hundreds, if not thousands, of custom code that's automating the integration and any management of complex workflows. So for example, if you're doing a full new API integration, whether you're migrating from a legacy API to a modern JSON API, or just upgrading to the latest version of an API, TripLeap's developer tool helps to automate and manage these complex workflows without writing a single line of code. And we're already solving this problem with customers like SmartTrip, where we're helping them save 46 hours in their development time with the hotel beds integration. But we're also helping hotel beds reduce 90% of their operational cost when onboarding customers like SmartTrip. So if you're a travel seller and you find yourself with a lot of product backlog, which is API development work, you know where to find us. Scan the QR code and book a demo with us today. Thank you very much. 20 seconds.
Wow, thank you, Nick. And now I say the name also correctly, Trapi, right?
Yeah, everyone gets it wrong, so it's fine.
All right, my
I think
apologies.
we might have to change the name by popular demand.
Right. Any first thoughts? I mean, that was very technical, but nevertheless, Christoph?
I like the pitch. I like, that's what I mean with, let's say, thinking it through in terms of deep backbone connect with your API connector. I like it. I think you pitched well. The question I would have to really break down to one use case to really understand it. The hotel bed integration is one, but how about a PMS integration? How about, let's say, internal CRM? So I don't get where is the sweet spot exactly. Are you focusing on, let's say, the bigger platforms with more complex integration, or really even into a small hotel with 50 rooms, which you try to connect or dive into their complexity? Or is it more the bigger hotel groups, or is it who is the agent who is selling? So that's what I didn't.
Yeah, so, and that comes back to the personal experience. So our first startup, AmigoGo, was a B2C travel selling business. So we went through all the rigmarole of integrating with multiple APIs, and it took us months. So our first goal was to simplify and enable scalability for startup travel selling businesses. And now you're starting to see a ton of them come out of the gate as AI recommendation engines, like Mindtrip as one of the leading ones. So we want to help startup travel selling businesses get their feet wet with aggregators like hotel beds and Amadeus, et cetera, et cetera. And then as we scale our business, scale it with our customers. As they scale, go direct to supplier, and that's where we find, the minefield of direct airline integrations, or NDC APIs, which are pretty complex. So that's kind of our right now, and sort of the vision of how we see ourselves. But more so on the travel selling, less on the PMS and hotels. But we do want to get involved with those types of APIs. And not just that, not just travel. Our focus is completely on travel, but I think we see ourselves as the Zapier for travel, or the Zapier for complex APIs, where on Zapier you can integrate your Salesforce with your HubSpot, but that would take an engineer a couple hours to do, and now you can do it in a couple clicks. Complex APIs take months, and it's not just technology process issues, it's business process, right? Going through certification can take months.
Good.
Thank you so much, Nick. Min Liu, from your end, any thoughts or questions you have regarding the pitch?
Yeah, I think that there's a good use case. You're really addressing industry pinpoints. Some travel companies, they do lack talent in implementing API, and some travel sellers, for them it still takes weeks to implement API. My question is more regarding what is your revenue model? So what is the way you earn fees?
Yeah.
How do you make sure that you will continue to earn something from this customer.
Yeah, absolutely. So today, we charge a flat fee per endpoint integration. That's our MVP. But as we build out, as you saw, the 3-month integration, once we get onto the ongoing management, most startups and API customers don't do a full-blown integration from the get-go. They will start with a couple endpoints and then iterate, right, as they scale. So having an API management tool that you can add, whether it's a field, a version upgrade, that stuff is constantly on their product backlog. So if you can use a tool that can automate without writing a single line of code, that's where we'll move into a model that's more of a AI agent as a service. So depending on what agents you unlock, if you want error handling code, if you want rate limiting code, if you want authentication code, that's all AI agents that will be part of your SaaS model, but AI agent model. So that's sort of the now and where we want to move into.
Okay.
Right. Do you have a brief thought to add?
When we talked about what startups to look for in the market right now, to say this is the 10% that
10%, right.
that it's new, that I haven't heard before. And so this is not the first time that I heard Nick pitch. And the second time that I heard about it is the third time. So I'm so convinced that I pushed my Amadeus API team to talk to Nick to find a way to get our APIs there. And I know that you have been battle testing this concept, right? So in a way, have you found the perfect use case for you yet? Do you think that you can build your business on?
Yeah, I think right now it's those endpoint integrations. I don't think it's the perfect use case. I think we've started to talk to more enterprise customers where it's not more so running new integrations. We talked to a large meta site that has over 1,000 integrations today. But for them to add a single field, so let's say in their search results to show the CO2 emissions, they have to go back to 1,000 APIs, go through all the documentation. Now 600 have that field, 400 don't. What do, right? So actually helping more on the 3-month cycle, the schema mapping, and being able to, once you feed an AI agent context of your schema, to map to it and enable it to grow without having to review API documentation for 1,000 APIs. I think that's a truly interesting use case that we're diving into right now.
Okay. Very good.
Very exciting. Thank you so much. Nick Castrioty from Trapi. Yes. Right, everyone. I think this is amazing how quickly time flies when you have pitches. So is this something you do regularly, receiving pitches, Suzanna, Christoph? Yeah? Yeah. I mean, you're obviously not so much with the field you're in. How does it feel for you? Is it enough for you to grasp the sound idea of the business, or do you feel, okay, 3 minutes is really not enough to?
I think it's like a trigger interest and curiosity to learn more. Obviously, it's not enough to assess the business model and scalability, sustainability, but obviously, that gives a sense of what they are heading for. Maybe more questions come up.
Yeah, I mean, something that I always find very interesting, we talked about this the past years as well, and I think it never changes in the relevance of it, right? So when you evaluate a startup, what's more important, the founding team that's presenting? You mentioned passion, right, Christoph? Or the business case itself? So what if you had to choose, who would you bet on, Christoph? Is it a team or is it the idea?
I think what we figured out, the best teams are always find ways alongside the journey to adapt the use case. So that's why the starting point of the use case is interesting, but if you see successful companies, they always go a bit left and right alongside the journey. And that's why we feel like the team, and we have the kind of, is the founder able to pitch a 100 million equity round? That is also a question because, for example, we are not interested in a local solution which at the end is profitable on a 5 to 10 million revenue. So we are really interested on the really disruptive solutions which are global market leader at the end. And that's why if you look into the eyes of the founder, you always have to ask yourself, can this guy pitch a 100 million ticket really sophisticated investors, because that's at the end the question. Because we have seen a lot of founders who made it to a decent level, Series A or whatever, but then they really failed to get the kind of massive funding for this kind of disruptive approach. And that's why I think you can feel it, whether that is a person who's able to do it or not.
Right. Suzanna, you're nodding in agreement.
Absolutely. Like, being a corporate, and because we are in technology for travel, so we do pay a little bit more on business models, on the solutions, on whether there's a strategic fit. But with the experience that we have, notice that we've been investing in this space for 10 years now, especially during the COVID, the pandemic period, you see the quality of the people, which is absolutely the most important. So it's like a team that can adapt, a team that has the grit to push it through, like during the most difficult time, right? You may have the perfect solution to start with, but at a disruption period, say similar to COVID, how can you adapt your solutions like for your customers at that period of time to be able to add value, even at the toughest moments, and be able to rebound afterwards? And so a lot of it is about the mentality of the team. I had a lot of very tough discussions with founders during that period of time in our portfolios. I'm sure it's the same for you, Christoph. It's a lot of emotional up and downs, a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. But at the same time, it's being able to speak to customers, speak to shareholders, and be responsible for all the actions that they're going to take. It's a lot of quality.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure in that realm, right? And Min Liu, you're active in the mergers and acquisition space, right? And I mean, for many startups, that's the ideal scenario, that they get acquired by some bigger player, and that's one of the strategies they might be after. Is this something you're seeing that's still an active trend in the industry?
Sorry, you're talking about the...
Yeah, that merger and acquisition, that for a startup, really achieving the point where they get acquired by someone else, is this still a relevant strategy that you're seeing at the moment, or is there changes currently in the industry?
Yeah, I think it really depends on on founders' ambition. Sometimes you really believe in this product and don't want to be acquired by strategics, but you want to really build alongside financial investors because you see a bigger market. But sometimes, people, they have other priorities. They want the company lands in a safe hand, so maybe drive synergies with other strategics. So, I mean, it really depends on the product and on ambition of each founder.
And what would you say currently for the travel industry in general, not just speaking about a particular startup? Can you see a trend? Is it still...
Yeah. Currently, the M&A market is pretty much driven by PE-backed funds, or PE-VC-backed funds. So we see there are consolidation platforms who continue to build product suites through acquisitions, maybe to expand also their geographic coverage by buying other businesses as well. So this represents still 60-70% of the M&A market.
Right. And then something that I hear often is that travel is a very different animal to many, right? Coming from the outside in to our industry. But then again, we have many innovations coming from founders that are not natively grown up in the travel industry, if you can put it that way. So is there any way that you approach travel startups differently when you talk to them? I mean, you are exclusively busy in the travel space, but you, Christoph, you also, right? You have a perspective where you see also other industries. Is there something you say it's very characteristic for our industry?
No, it's an interesting question because, for example, we see transportation as one thesis. So movement of goods and people do have so many similarities that logistics and travel is closer as we all think in terms of, let's say, building density on different routes and transporting and supply side connect. So these are all same problems the founders do have to solve. That's why I think travel for us would never be a core thesis. It's more the kind of, let's say, digitization-driven disruption of classical industries would be one. So that's why we would not have a travel captain within our investment team.
Right, okay, understood. Yeah, very interesting. Anything you'd like to add to this part of the travel industry in very particular? When you talk to investors from other industries, do you have to, is there some misconceptions or some misunderstandings that you encounter?
I think the challenges and the problems of travel, in a way, it does come in from two perspectives. One is when we are traveling on our own, as travelers, we are all travelers, we all experience a lot of pain points when we travel. And so trying to tackle those pain points, those are very valid ideas for startups. But at the same time, we are also seeing another types of problem statements, which typically comes in more from people from the industry. For example, tackling revenue management, tackling maybe operations of an airport. So that type of use cases, we tend to see people who are from the industry, who will be proposing ideas, in terms of how can we solve those problems overall. So I would say, yeah, it's a combination of angles that we see.
Okay, I mean, even like Amadeus Ventures is a good example, right? Because you also offer strategic support, not only the financial support. So that's probably also a very powerful aspect when you are a startup in a travel scene, right? Because it's all about relations and the ecosystem and integrating into that. You mentioned the PMS systems, which is a pain for the industry, the whole interoperability, right? Is there one thing you're waiting for years and you're just always hoping there's this pitch coming along solving this problem you're seeing in the travel industry and no one really has a solution for that? Is there something you see? I mean, yeah, please, Suzanna.
I have one, open question. Bags. Baggage. Bags, yes. Right. It's something that we talk less about. It's about, remember the last time, it's something that when it breaks, it really hurts. The last time that you lost your bag because you have a very short connection. The last time that your bag is damaged by the airlines and it takes you 3 months to chase them for a compensation. I've done all of that in the last 6 months. And so once you've got it through those processes, you see the different parties, you see the value chain. There's a kind of the frictions along the way. So we're seeing concepts in that space, but once again, this is maybe coming in different angles, and you need to kind of put them back together. So once again, notice it's traveler experience, traveler centricity. How can we bridge that different elements back together such that when you arrive home, the last thing that you remember is that very pleasant journey rather than the bag that you've lost.
Okay, understood. Minliu, do you have any area in travel where you feel this is a pain point you either experience personally or you just know based on what you do, where you feel we need a solution?
Yeah, I would think that if there's more digitalization experiences, for instance, that would be cool because still sometimes you need to manually find attractions, experience to do. But if everything is digitalized, connected, and with the clean data, and you know what you're looking for, and you can find it very quickly. That would be nice. That's why I think we are in travel. There are many investors looking, currently investing in travel because this huge trends of digitalization, even within a very fragmented market, that's very compelling to them.
Right, and Christoph, is there something you're waiting for many years now?
I think what's interesting, a lot of founders have tried to create a super app for travel.
Right.
And no one really cracked it. So I think Uber is trying to get closer to it. They start to integrate third-party solutions. Like Uber is integrating Omio, our ground transportation product in the UK within the platform. I think Uber can become a kind of super app, but no one really cracked the super app approach. Maybe with AI agents, it can become possible. Let's see.
Right, okay, understood. And then, we don't have winners tonight, right, or today with the pitches. I feel they're all winners because, first of all, they have the guts to actually found a company. I think that's very admirable, and it needs a lot of energy and perseverance to do that. So kudos to that. But if you had to choose, is there one that stood out to you? If you had to put your bet on one of them, which one would you choose if you had now to choose? Christoph.
What was the name, Nick, of the last one?
Trapi.
Yeah.
Trapi.
I liked it because that was, in my view, thought through in terms of showing some traction, showing proof that really understood the kind of machine room knowledge of that business. But I liked all four because, in a way, they show the passion, which I think is the first and most important thing. But as I said a few minutes before, I think we really want to understand whether the founder has thought it through.
Right. Okay. Min-Yu, what will you add?
Yeah.
I think I'm impressed by Me Protocol. That's really triggered my interest, and I think it's a combination of blockchain technology that we don't see that often in the industry, plus AI. I'm very curious about how this will move forward.
Right. And Suzanna, what's your choice if you had to make one?
Yeah. I like all the AI concepts. So 3 out of 4 today is like, once again, iterating back into the AI theme. As I said, Trapi, I've already encouraged the team to work with Nick. But overall, I would say, Rob, with the loyalty programs, I think that is a big idea. Right? It's the agentic model that I think we are all paying a lot of attention to, right? All the big LLM companies, they are putting out agents, and there are a lot of experiments that are being done right now. Is it about loyalty, or is it about booking use cases, search use cases? There are so many use cases that we need to continue to experiment and observe. Some very wise people said in the past that for new technologies, we tend to overestimate the impact in the short term, but we underestimate the impact in the long term.
All right.
So I think it's kind of like true, like from several observations that we had in the past. So let's see what's going to happen this time. But I would say, we're having some very exciting times.
Yeah, very exciting times. No, I love this session. I'd say, is there any other better way to wrap up the ITB marketing distribution track than this? I say no. This is really my favorite way to end today. Thank you so much for your time and your having been with us here. Suzanna Chiu from Amadeus, Christoph Schuh from Lakestar, and Min-Yu from Cambon Partners. I loved it. And a warm applause, please, everyone. And I say back to Katie. Thank you.